Howdy guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk generators. I want to share with y'all what I have, why I made that decision. We're going to talk a little bit about home standby generators, but I kind of want to tell y'all what I have, why I went that certain route, and I'm kind of going to give y'all my 2 cents for what it's worth. So we just got through at the end of February, the ice apocalypse or the winter apocalypse down in Texas, where for several days, basically the majority of the state was without power. We were blessed as a family though, because I stayed prepared for a lot of things. I have water filters. I keep food stored up. We had gas to cook on. We had natural gas to run our fireplace. And then I also have a couple generators that we were able to fire up and run some appliances on. If you have the money, if you have $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, which is typically what they're going for, to purchase a home standby generator down in Texas, Generac is one of the main ones. If you have the money to purchase one of those, I'm going to tell you right now, do it. They are invaluable in the event that your power goes off. That transition between power grid and generator is seamless. I've got a good friend of mine, Mike, the shooting dentist, who has one at his house in Houston, and he ran it for several days during the snow apocalypse. So if you've got the money, guys, go ahead and invest in that entire home generator. So let's get into portable generators. I want to share with y'all what I have, kind of what I recommend. So if you do have natural gas at your home, we're going to get into this a little bit more later, but if you do have natural gas, I would highly recommend you finding a dual fuel generator to begin with. One that has at least a 30 amp outlet. It's one of those big round outlets that you push in and twist. So what is a dual fuel generator? Well, it's a generator that can either run off gasoline or some type of gas, either propane or natural gas. So why do I recommend that? Well, gasoline, we only have a finite supply. We can only hold a finite supply in containers or whatnot at our homes, but you've got almost an infinite supply, for lack of better terms, of natural gas coming out. So if you wanted to, you could run that generator for as long as you had natural gas, because it's directly piped into your home. So if you can, dual fuel generator, something with a 30 amp outlet, preferably 3,000 watts and up. The first generator I got, and coincidentally it was several months before Harvey, I got a Honda, one of the EU 2000 little portable generators, the real quiet ones that you hear at tailgates and whatnot. My main purpose was twofold. Number one, I wanted to be able to charge cell phones, keep communications up and running, but mainly I wanted to be able to keep my refrigerator and my freezer running to keep my food from spoiling. So like I said, we keep quite a bit of food on hand for events that we just had. I keep ground beef, milk, butter. I keep a lot of stuff frozen in my deep freeze so that we're not necessarily going to the store every several days. I like to keep about 2 to 3 weeks worth of protein and things like that frozen that we can rely on. So that was the main purpose of that little generator, and it did the purpose. It can power my refrigerator, my freezers. We might have to alternate them, so I wouldn't necessarily be able to run both at the same time, but I could run it to where my food wouldn't spoil. So that was the main reason. Luckily for Harvey, I didn't have to use it because we would only lose power for several hours and then it would come back on, even though a bunch of people in the Houston area were without power for several days. We were blessed. Fast forward a couple years, we're now in a different home that actually has natural gas hookup. So think about what you want to power. Like I said, my main purpose was refrigerator, freezer, and then charging phones for communication. So here goes to my next bet, moving to a house with natural gas. So I still have that Honda. I still use it. I used it a couple weeks ago when the power went out to kind of run some stuff at night because it was quieter. But let's fast forward a couple years from Hurricane Harvey to about 2018, 2019. I invested in a little bit larger generator, a dual fuel generator. This is a Furman. One of the reasons why I got that is because we moved into a house that has natural gas hookup outside. I've got my barbecue grill hooked up to it. And so I can run that line, or I have a line where I can run from the natural gas outlet outside and into my generator. Even though it says it's designed to run on propane, it will run on natural gas. Here's the thing though, just note the energy output of gases compared to gasoline is significantly different. So your generator might be rated for a certain wattage output when running gasoline. If you run a dual fuel and you run a propane fuel from that, you'll notice that your output drops. If you run natural gas compared to propane, that energy drops even more. So just be aware of kind of what your energy demands are and then plan accordingly. But I got that Furman because, like I said, it was a dual fuel. I can hook it up to my natural gas, or I can run gasoline through it and get the max output. And why did I get that one specifically? Well, it was on sale at Costco. I got a real good deal on it. And I also wanted to be able to run some stuff other than the necessities. I wanted to be able to run some appliances other than my fridge and freezer. So like I said before, more than likely if the power's out, it's during the summertime. I wanted to be able to run like a portable AC or some fans. I wanted to be able to keep my internet up and running, my wireless up and running. So I invested a little bit more money to get that generator so that it could supply with us with more than necessities. It could actually meet some of our wants and luxuries or whatnot. So that's why I went that route with that big generator. One of the things that I want y'all to see, and like I said, one of the reasons for dual fuels to have that backup, that option, let's talk about fuel storage real quick. So I keep my generators topped off, but in addition to that, I have 4 jerry cans that I keep with ethanol-free gasoline, and I put some Stabil fuel stabilizer in there. On top of that, I actually have an additional 6-gallon racing gas tank that fills things up pretty stinking quick. What a lot of people don't realize is that you actually have, depending on how many vehicles you have at your house, you have some significant storage of gasoline. So in the event that power is out for multiple days and I'm running on gasoline, you can siphon gasoline out of your vehicles. Hopefully you have at least one. They're both filled up beforehand. You can use one in an emergency to siphon gas to keep your stuff running. I would not touch that second one. I would use that for other purposes. But you do have more fuel storage than what you think. So having fuel storage is critical. Like I said, having a plan B, having backup plans, contingency plans is critical as well. So one of the additional benefits to portable generators, like I said, you have your gas storage. If you don't, if a season comes by, if a storm season comes by, a hurricane season occurs, and you don't have to use your generators or that fuel storage, great. Then use that to top off your vehicles. You will always find a use for that gasoline. Use it to put in your lawnmowers or whatnot. You will always have a use for that extra storage of gasoline. So it is not going to waste. You are going to use it at some point in time. Even if you don't use it during a storm season to keep your generators up and running, put it in your cars. So you always have that backup in the event that you might need it. So let's talk about what I did right. I want to talk also about what I did wrong. So what I did right, that big generator, we ran it a lot of times during the day. During this last outage a couple weeks ago, we were able to run an air fryer for the kids, cooking them chicken nuggets. Our good friends and neighbors came over quite a bit because we had gas cooktops and we had running water. We didn't have any water issues. Once again, we were blessed for that. But we were able to essentially run our full kitchen. which was great. So that big generator took care of almost everything that we needed it to. Had TVs hooked up, ran a DVD for the kids, and so that big generator was great. I ran it both off gasoline and also natural gas just to experiment with it. So my fuel setup was great. I think I have plenty of fuel storage. I didn't even go through maybe 30% of it. So having those jerry cans, that 6-gallon gas tank, everything topped off to begin with, I was good to go for that. Had plenty of power cords to run stuff through. That was another good thing. We were better off than most people. Those are the things I did right. Let's talk about some things that I would like to do a little bit differently. So number one, with that big generator, my next plan is to install a transfer switch in my breaker. So what I want to do is I want to be able to plug my big generator, that 50 amp, straight into an outlet, and in the event that the power goes off, I crank that generator up, flip a switch, and the whole house is now powered on that generator. Now I can't run all my ACs and everything in the house and light it up, but it allows us to run to be as normal as we can for as long as we have, as long as that generator is running. So transfer switch is next on my list. Number two, and this is more of like an OPSEC sort of thing. If you can, I would caution you to run. I would caution you against running your generators at night. That's when people drive around trying to listen to who has stuff going on, and if they can go into somebody's backyard, have easy access and take it. However, though, if you decide to run one of those quiet generators like the Hondas, is great. We ran one evening. I kept, I think, a small heater going until that gas tank went empty to try to keep our bedroom warm. We put all the kids in our bedroom with my wife and I, and to try to keep it as warm as possible. So things I want to change, getting that transfer switch. Number two, there is an external fuel tank that you can get for these Honda generators. And essentially it's a marine or a 6-gallon boat gas tank that has a tube going from the gas to your generator. You have to get a different top for that, but those are easily found on Amazon. And essentially what it is, you create a suction from your little Honda generator to that external gas tank, and when gas starts to get used, it automatically starts sucking it out, so you get a significantly longer run time. So those are the two main things that I would like to change. But all in all, I'm pleased with our setup. I'm pleased with what we had. I'm pleased with the decisions that we have made with what I have. Anyway, guys, that's just kind of a quick rundown of what I have, what I recommend, why I recommend it, what works for me, things I wanted to change. I'm hoping this might answer some of your questions, maybe put you on a certain path, or maybe make you think about things that you didn't think about before. Because I know getting into this stuff, it's a pretty good investment. But there's a lot of information out there. So that's just my 2 cents, what works for us, things I'd like to change. But once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Be safe, be smart, be skilled. We'll catch you on the next video.